My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Nunas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And it's the end of the month. And so we all know what the end of the month means. The last podcast of the month means it's what we talk about, all the stuff that we watched this month. There might be a lot, there might be a little. It depends on the month and how busy we've been. So that's what we're going to do because the people, the listeners, you keep wanting it. You keep wanting to know what we're watching.
Everybody wants stuff for their watch list.
Yeah,
even though we all have enough on our watch list.
I want to know what we think, And I feel like this segment is probably because all four of us have like very different watching preferences. So if like someone's like, oh, I really like what Jessie likes watching, they'll be like, oh, what did Jessie think of this? Should I add it to my list? But anyway, I think it's we love that you keep coming back for the old what we're watching. So what have people been watching?
Not a lot.
Yeah, so I feel like there's been 3 members of this podcast have had pretty busy Augusts. One member of this podcast, myself, has not had a very busy August. So I feel like the amount watched.
I can't even believe it's August. So
I know.
Yeah, the end of August. Like I literally had a moment this week where I was like, wait, I started watching that show. I should watch the second episode so I have something to talk about this week. I was like, I've just been reading a lot. So
not relate. I've been mainlining content.
Good.
All right, so how about you start?
Yeah, Natalia start.
We'll go like Natalia, Jessie, Natalia.
Yeah,
we probably have to do
Natalia,
that.
Amanda.
It'll be the Natalia show this month. Okay, so I have become obsessed with this Chinese historical drama. 56 or 58 episodes long. I'm on episode 40, I think.
Wow.
It's called Love Like the Galaxy. And first off, this male character, just hot as hell, but also simp as hell. And you love to see it. He's like, sees this woman from a distance and is like, that's the one.
Wait,
we're done.
Is this the first Chinese historical that you've been or fantasy that you've been really into?
No, the Untamed exists.
True.
Wow.
Okay. I was trying to remember.
Yeah, Untamed, Word of Honor, all these.
Yeah.
But this is one of the first straight Chinese historicals. No, there's been a few. I really liked Oh My General too. But this one is so fun. Though I will say there is a weird plot involving this other dude that lasts a couple episodes too long where you're like, okay. We saw from the first episode who was Endgame, so I don't know why we're having this random side plot that we all know isn't going anywhere. But regardless, it follows this girl who her parents were both in the military because China did have female military officers in much of history. So her mother was a military officer and her father was a general, and them and her 3 brothers leave her with her grandmother who hates her. And so her grandmother and her aunt-in-law just sort of abuse her for years. And so she grew up just sort of very self-reliant with her and her best friend who's a maid. And so her parents come back after 15 years of being in the war and are suddenly surprised that she doesn't like them at all because they abandoned her with her abusive relatives. So her mother's like, well, she's not very ladylike at all. And she doesn't know anything about literature and all this stuff, but she's a mathematical genius and really good at building contraptions. And if she sees someone build something once, she can build it. And she also has no familial loyalty whatsoever. So in the first episode, you meet the general, the hot general, because there's the old men general, then there's the young hot general.
Of course.
Listen, we've seen this before. Who's hunting for one of her uncles who stole military rations or something, and she just is yeah, he's fucking hiding over there, just Pew, pew, go get him. So he's like, oh, who's this girl? Like, she is interesting. Like, So basically, it just follows like her mother desperately trying to make her be more ladylike, and her just being like, it's gonna be a no from me, dog. And then this general just, he has like his whole plot about where he's, seeking revenge for things from his childhood. Like, it's great, whatever. But then him also just being like, I will just slow burn this relationship. Like, he's like, I've never spoken to a woman I liked before in my life and don't know how. It's beautifully shot. It's well acted. I'm in love. It's on WeTV and Viki, so it's on 2 locations.
How far along are you?
I am on episode 40, 42 maybe. It's hard to say because I normally would mark it down on my drama list, but for some reason on my drama list they like split it into 2 seasons. But I think I'm on episode 40 or 42, something like that. Either 40 or 42, depending on what where I last ended up. I watched it in chunks of 2. Now their episodes are like 45-ish minutes long, so it's not like an hour-long episode. Like the Chinese shows are usually around 40 minutes. And when I say that I watched the first 36 episodes in 2 days, I did nothing but watch this show for 2 straight days. Like, I just kicked back and I was like, oh, like I saw like some screenshots and I was like, oh, the show looks really like pretty. Like it looks, and like I saw some people being like, oh, like I'm really enjoying Love Like the Galaxy. Like even people who I know don't like.
I've seen it on my timeline
stuff. So I was like, I was intrigued, and I was like, how good can it be? And like within 2 episodes, I was like, yeah, absolutely. It has the girl who starred in Dating in the Kitchen as like the main lead, and I love that show. So I was like, okay. And the general. Okay, sir. Beautiful costumes, beautiful hair, like just beautiful sets. There's intrigue. You've got all sorts of, if you like political intrigue within Tang Dynasty China, have we got the show for you? No, I'm really enjoying it. So it gets literally, I don't know how they could ruin it in these last like 10 episodes. Like they can, okay? It's possible, but I don't know. It might be like one of my top of the year. That's how good it is.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's how much I've enjoyed it. So
I started watching Black Dog with my sister, which is an older, like a couple years old Korean drama about teachers. It's a high school drama, but it's not a high school drama because it's not about the kids at all. It's all about the teachers who don't appear to ever actually teach classes. They just hang out in the office. It's an office drama about a high school. Like that's what I'm watching. It's very good. The premise is like, it starts out and my sister and I are like, hang on, what are we doing here? Because I was like, they're totally going to have like this school bus is going to crash, right? And somebody's going to die. Like, what are we doing? And then we were like reading the description. We're like, oh, okay, this is the main character. That's why she got into teaching, because her school bus crashed when she was in a cast and she was trapped in the bus. And this teacher came back for her and got her out, and then he died.
Oh.
And so, because he was such a good teacher, you see a lot of flashbacks of him in the first couple episodes. He was a really great teacher who loved the students and just really was great. And so she wants to pay it forward, basically. Like, she's like, the world lost a great teacher for me, so I should be a great teacher. But she hasn't been able to pass. There's like a test you have to take in Korea in order to be a full-time
anything,
right? So she's gone to teachers college and passed it and everything, but she hasn't passed the test that allows you to be a full-time teacher. So you can only be a part-time teacher. And then if you're a part-time teacher, they can screw you over, right? Like they can change your shifts. They can
surprise.
You know, she was hired for a year's, you know, somebody's maternity leave or something. Like, she was hired for a year's contract, but they hadn't got the contracts out yet. And then they were like, oh, one of our other teachers decided to come back early, so like now you're only getting a 5-month contract. Like, it was just like, and if you only get the 5-month contract, then when the summer vacation comes, you can't apply for unemployment because you're not. Yeah, like, it's a whole thing.
It's like capitalism.
It's like companies that hire at like part-time and then schedule you for 36 hours because at 37 they have to pay you full-time. Like,
right.
Just fuck off.
Well, and that's the thing. This teacher that died saving her was a part-time teacher. So she was at the funeral to, you know, mourn him, and she overheard muckety-mucks from her school basically telling his wife and his mom
that he wouldn't get any benefits.
Yeah, that they're not getting any benefits because he's not a real teacher. And they're like, what are you talking about? He died on your school bus, like saving your students. What do you mean? And they're like, here's a packet with a little bit of money. Bye. Like,
just fuck off.
Right? Like, so the whole thing at the, like, there's all these office politics going on between the different department heads, and her department is the college admissions department. So they're supposed to be helping the students to get into universities. But this school is not a particularly good high school. So, like,
sounds like my high school.
The universities are like, like, whatever. You know, an A doesn't really mean that much because it came from your school. So we don't care. And it's a whole thing. And there's like all the other young, like, new temp teachers have put her on the outside because it came out that, like, she's a nepotism hire. She's totally not. Her uncle didn't even know she was applying, and she didn't know her uncle worked at that school. But, like, it came out that her uncle's there in a completely unrelated department. But, you know,
such a good nepotism hire, such a nepotistic hire that she didn't even get a full-time contract.
Yeah, talk about a super crappy
nepotism. There. Like, at one point she says to him, what do I have to do to be full-time? And he's like, I cannot help you with that. You are an adult. Find your way, child. And she's like,
you know what? Well, I hate that. I hate that sentiment.
Thanks. You sound like a terrible teacher.
I hate that sentiment because people who say that always conveniently forget all the people who helped them get where they are.
His thing is that he has seen her being, you know, he's trying to keep a distance because he's seen the way she's being treated. And he's been told by other teachers that they're like, if you give even the slightest sense of impropriety, it's going to go so much worse for her. And I'm like, it's already going terrible. She eats lunch by herself every day because she had one friend who, like, wound up quitting. Like, it's a whole thing. And you're just like, and they keep putting things on her. Like,
isn't it pretty heavy? Like, I think I watched the first half of the first episode. Like, I watched a little bit.
The first half
of
of the first episode is the heaviest. What's funniest to me is that the rest of it is very light. Like, there's no, like, student suicides going on. I mean, I'm only halfway through, but, like, it's just office politics. Like, all the time office politics. But, like, they have the most extra OSTs, like, all the time. Like, there's a scene where they're talking about, she's like, she's been offered this, like, extra class, and it's just totally a dick move because, like, her head of department doesn't want this class to be offered. So the other department offered her to teach it because it would be a really good career move if it goes well. But if it goes badly, the teacher who taught will be the one who goes on the chopping block, right? So it's whatever.
She ain't got nothing to lose.
And so she's like, I don't know what to do. And her head of department says, like, if you think you should take this class, then take it. And she's like, okay, I will. And then the song that starts up, like, I swear to God, it was like Sarah McLachlan in the arms. And I was like, it's a class.
Incredible. You're like, she's just teaching a fucking college prep course. Calm down here.
Like, it's so wild, and it's so, everything feels so heavy. Like, the way they keep flashing back on this teacher who quit, you honestly would think she committed suicide or something, but no, she she quit. Like it's okay, but like it's really enjoyable. We're really, really enjoying the show. The characters are good. The male lead, who like I don't think there's going to be a romance there. I think maybe she's got a crush on him, but I don't know. Like we're halfway and it's not even a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But this actor looks exactly like Eric Nam. Like my sister doesn't even listen to K-pop, and she's like, "That looks like Eric Nam," and I'm like, "Looks like Eric Nam." So all the high school students have a big crush on him and want to be in his classes, which
Ha Jun.
So he like
Hot too.
it's really weird. Like in his picture on my MDL, you're sort of like, but like,
No,
yeah,
I know
this
I've
is what
seen him in a
he
bunch
was.
of stuff.
He was in Crazy Love recently with Crystal.
Yeah, he
guy
played
with
the
glasses.
brother.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's very
He's a
weird, but like
good-looking-
just
good-looking
all
dad
the
bod.
time he'll like smile or turn his head, and you're like, okay,
He's-
poor man's Eric Nam. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? Like,
He's a cutie.
he's cute. Like he's very.
He's pretty
Yes.
cute. He's
So-
pretty cute.
It's
I see he's also he's in Earth Doll as well. So
yeah, I saw that too. So
just as a slight
Like everyone else in
Everyone-
entertainment.
Well, whenever I watched Crazy Love, I was trying to find stuff out about him because I'm like, who is this guy? And then I went and figured out what he was in Earth Doll. I think he was the one that was kind of a traitor. Do you remember that guy?
Yeah.
He doesn't look like himself at
No.
all. in Earth
He's-
Doll.
he's a chameleon. He doesn't look like this photo they have on my drama list. He didn't look like that at all in Crazy Love. At all. Like he is a master of disguise.
yeah.
Mm.
So
And when he looks teacher, he looks very teacher. A cute
he's
teacher, but
very
he's a
teacher. Like he's very, very teacher in this, and and he's sort of a bit almost mansplaining about like some things. Like he's not bad, but like he's sort of like she's
He's a
working
man,
partnered with the person he was partnered with last year or whatever, and he's like, this is how you work around her. She's a real power tripper. Da 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 da. And she's like, okay, cool, but like, I don't think that's for me. I'm going to do this my way. And he's like, you're just letting her walk all over you. You need to stand up for your rights and all this stuff. But now that teacher is like her best friend and like is like
So
her
maybe it was you
cheerleader.
like that.
I'm like,
maybe it was
Well,
you.
and I think that actress, that teacher, like she's really good. She's been in a handful of movies and stuff. She's awesome.
and she's gorgeous. Like, oh, the one, not the
Say
main,
it's
but
A
the
gorgeous actress.
there's there are
It's a
some
shock.
there's really great actresses in this and actors, and just like, I mean, there's a lot of teachers and a lot of fun stuff going on. The older, like a lot of the older actresses playing teachers and stuff, and yeah, and so it's
Adds to
Ro-
list.
Ram.
yes,
Oh,
yes,
God.
Rami
and like
Ron.
the boss.
Where is
the one
this
boss.
streaming for people? who are
We are
interested?
watching it on Netflix.
I just
Nice.
within this
Yeah.
year was placed on
Yes.
Netflix.
One of the ones
Yeah.
that Netflix picked up.
So-
Nice.
And it was just 2019, so it was like
Yeah.
pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a while ago. That was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was too.
Feels like it.
Exactly.
I
It
think
feels like
so.
it some days. Yes.
Yes.
So, speaking of slightly inappropriate soundtracks that don't really fit the narrative of what's going on, I've been watching this cursed show. I need to talk about it just to like rid myself of it.
Yeah.
So it's on Gagulala. And it's called Unforgotten Night.
Mafia Light.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's like they wanted to make a mafia show, but forgot that like mafia shows are supposed to be believable. And so the premise of this show is there's this dude whose boyfriend just left him for another man, and he's like really inconsolable, but he's like, I've got to move on. So he's an accountant, so he's just this like, in his real life,
Inconsolable accountant.
like, so he's in his real life, he's like, he's like a good, polite guy, like, good son, very, reserved and stuff. So he goes in to like drink away his woes, okay? Whereupon he catches the eye of this, I say in air quotes, sexy, dangerous gangster, who then is like, hey, like, want to, have some fun? And he's like, hell yeah, I do. So they go back to like this hotel and they have listen, the show wants you to believe that they've just had a fun BDSM kinky time. But neither of these two actors look like they've ever touched a set of handcuffs before in their lives. Like, I need to say, everyone on the show is working really hard. And they're all doing their best. It's so stupid. But anyway, and then so meanwhile, you learn about this gangster who's just like, he's so like unhinged and like crazy in bed that like no men want to be with him after one night because they just can't handle his kinky ways. But like this accountant is like really into it, and so he's like, well, obviously that means that we're meant to be together, so now you're my boyfriend. And this accountant's like, okay, calm the fuck down, buddy. Like, this was a one-night stand because I was sad. But anyway, he's, you know, as is these things, he's very persistent and just sort of wears him down. There's also this other plot involving this like casino bid with this other dude who's like the cousin of this girl who's in love with the very gay mafia guy, where you're just like, girl. You know, she's like, I'm gonna make him love me, and I'm like, my girl here, he's never dated a woman. He tells you you're friends constantly.
Even if he was straight, you can't make somebody
exactly.
Yeah,
But like, I'm sitting here and it's just like, he's already told you no several times. He's been like, this is my boyfriend because I am gay. I do not like women. I am a homosexual. Do you understand? And she's like, I don't know. Like, I feel like maybe.
I feel like I have a chance still.
If I like get rid of this boyfriend, that maybe he'll not be gay anymore. Anyway, the guy, this mafia dude also has tigers, pet tigers for some reason.
Wow.
But anytime anything happens, the most dramatic orchestral music plays on this show. Like, Amanda, you'll know what I mean immediately when I say, think opening credits dark blue kiss. That
right there, yeah.
But like minor key, okay? Like, and so I was watching it one night, and like this dramatic ass music is playing, and my husband's like, what the hell is happening on this show? And I'm like, a guy's walking down some stairs. That's all that's happening right now. This dude is walking down stairs. Anyway, there's also this thing involving like one of his bodyguards and like the nephew of his house. It's no one has any chemistry. It's
is there any redeeming quality to this show?
It's incredibly entertaining to watch, but not for any of the reasons that I'm sure the writers and directors wanted it to be. So like every week it's on Wednesdays on Hulu. I think like there's like 2 episodes left or something. And I watched the first episode and I was like, wow, this was something. And I was like, I probably won't watch it next Wednesday. Like, I couldn't stop myself. I was like, well, okay, like, I gotta see what happens now.
Is the plot interesting?
No. But I was laughing the other day how a lot of Thai BLs, like a lot of romance anime and manga, have beach episodes. This has 2 beach episodes. So if you like those beach episodes, boy, are you in luck. Like, it's fun to watch, but not for any
because it's bad. Is it fun to watch?
Yeah,
because
it's fun because it's. Listen, if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. I'm not going to shame anyone for liking this show because clearly I like it enough to keep watching it
there every week
for the past 10 weeks. Like, but it's not good, and I think we can all admit that it's not good.
And it's okay to watch not good stuff.
Exactly, you can enjoy it. I'm enjoying it. It's stupid. It's stupid fun. It's stupid fun. But if you're going in for like, oh, I really hope that there's a.
If you're looking for KinnPorsche 2,
this ain't it. 2.0, this ain't it, my friends. If you're looking for like Vegas Pete, the sequel, no, absolutely not. No. I'm still just thinking about this episode that happened this last week.
She's shaking her head a lot. I'm just going to narrate that
stuff
part.
that happened. obviously I can't say it because it's like episode.
You were too far in that you can't.
Yeah.
And I'm going to spoil anything, but like, I literally was laughing so hard I was crying, and my husband thought something was wrong with me, and he had to like come check on me, and he was like working. It was the middle of the day, and I was like, "Honey, I don't know why I'm still watching this." He's like, "You can stop." I'm like, "No, no, you can watch it." Listen, I gotta recommend the good and the bad. You know, if you're looking to laugh about something, this could be a good choice for you because I'm getting my chuckles out of it. What about you, Jessie? Have you seen anything good or bad?
Well, yeah, some stuff. So School Tales, the series, which is a Thai horror anthology currently on Netflix. I've only watched 2 episodes of it because I needed a show that I could download and take with me to a place that I didn't have any wireless or internet connection. It is okay. It's kind of like set up like all in the same school, and there's things that happen each episode. And I didn't look into it before recording this episode or while I was watching the episodes. They're like urban legends, but I don't know if they're actually like
real ones,
or they're just set up like they're urban legends within the show. Like something, there'll be like an urban legend like thing said about something, and then like it plays out in the episode. It's fun. It's not like the best, but it's also for high school students. Like it's a high school horror drama. But I will say, like, it is Thai, so therefore if you do not like horror, you're not going to like this just because it's
Thai show.
for
Just because,
like younger.
just because
You will
it stars
see
Saint.
lots of blood and lots of entrails or and stuff. So like it's not like glazing over that. Like it's not like it's for kids, so therefore it's not gory. It's
so like, listen, if you're out here like you're a Why Are You fan, you're like, ooh, Saint has a new show.
Yeah, so
maybe not.
I'm gonna preference it. It's like I've only been 2 episodes, and it's all like different. Each episode is different. It's a different thing that kind of plays into it, and it does have like kind of an air of it kind of referencing what happens with school kids and high schools, and just like stuff that happens within just growing up at that age. So it does tie into that with this kind of focus on it always being in the same school. There is like I guess kind of in the universe of this, another Thai anthology that might have been a movie that's like roughly the same title that was set in school. I think it's just like they're adoptions of each other. Essentially, they're not like the same characters or anything like that. But it's fine. Like it's only going to be 8 episodes, and it's a horror show, so it's on Netflix, and that makes it easier to watch and easier to find. So I'm having fun with it now, but I mean, it's not like something that's going to go on my top list by any means. So
yeah, as long as you're enjoying it, enjoying it. So.
And are the effects pretty good since there is blood and all that? Does it?
I mean, yeah, like, but there's not like there's like a lot of blood, but like that's it. Like it's not like like you're seeing supernatural stuff, but it's not like effects. Like it's just like there's nothing like super crazy about it in that respect.
Okay, so there's a new show on Viki that all dropped at once. It's a very short show. It's only like 8 episodes.
Okay.
And it was called Alice the Final Weapon.
Oh yeah.
I watched every single episode of it, and it is wild. It is
wild in like the promos and stuff.
It is the most unhinged show I have seen in a long time, and I watch a lot of unhinged shows. So this one follows like 2 main characters. One is a girl who was raised as she was kidnapped from her family and raised in like an assassin training school, but she doesn't want to be an assassin, so she escapes and is helped by an ex-assassin whose daughter was also kidnapped in this school, but she died. This all happens in the first episode. I'm not giving much away. Meanwhile, the second character is this high school student who, when he was a child, witnessed both his father was incredibly abusive, and then his mother killed herself in front of him. And so he's like real messed up, and he doesn't feel anything, but then discovers through like sheer shenanigans that he really starts to feel things when people punch him. So they have like school bullies, and he starts like inserting himself like in front of like the people being bullied, so he'll be the one beaten up. And he basically like drives out all the bullies by just non-resistance, by being like, no, keep punching me, like punch me more. So she ends up like saving his life, and he's like, who is this ethereal creature who is just absolutely incredible, like I'm in love. And then she enrolls at his school because she's undercover hiding from these assassins, and she's like, he won't remember me, like there's no way there's no way this guy will remember me. And then it's like, of course, like their desks are together, and she turns and he's just like staring at her. And it's the wildest show I've watched in a while. It's so good.
And how long are the episodes?
The episodes, that is a good question. It's on Viki. I think it was even like a Viki original, whatever that means these days. I want to say they were like 45 minutes. Like they didn't feel super long.
I think it might be like web series as.
Yeah, it's not like a very long show. It has it does have our boy in it. Because I mentioned in a group chat.
We have many boys.
It has many boys.
Way to narrow it down.
This is our man, okay, Kim Tae-hoon.
Oh, yes.
And someone was like, oh, like he dies in every one of these shows. Does he die in this one? I'm like, listen, I'm not going to give anything away. Okay. But all I have to say for almost everyone in this show, whatever happens to them is 100% deserved. Like, I'm not going to say what happens to him, but whatever it is, deserved. The guy, I had never seen like the main actor who played the young guy before. Like, well, not that I like recognize his name, but he's been in things that I've watched, but I just like didn't notice him. Like, he's always been like guest roles and support roles. His name's Sungyeon. He was so insane in this show. Like, just wild. Anyway, I do recommend it. It is a little violent. I don't know if my synopsis.
I couldn't have guessed. I thought it was a rom-com.
Yeah, it's a little bit, but in the most fucked up ways you can possibly imagine. And since it's so short, I can't even like give that many like plot points because I'm like, it's only 8 30 to 40 minute episodes, but it's something. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was quite fun. So,
yeah, small side note that Kim Tae-hoon's character is called Killer Spicy.
Yeah, this is code name.
We won't talk about that, but I
will say this about him. He looked like he was having the time of his life in this show. Like, think to Carter, the guy who played the evil general, how much fun he seemed like he was having. That level of fun. You know, like, he knew what show he was in. Like, he knew.
He always seems to, like, he picks such a diverse thing, projects. He seems to just pick things he wants to do.
Yeah.
Like, so... Yeah.
Like, oh, I feel like I want to be really nice in this role, and then I want to have a lot of fun in this one.
I'm not saying this is what happens in this because I'm not going to spoil anything. But if you look at most of his discography, he's wanted to die in filmography. He's wanted to die in every sort of personality and situation that he can come. And like, listen, I applaud him for that.
Yeah,
he's playing Final Destination. The filmography.
Like it's 1,000 Ways to Die. The show.
And he's gonna try them all. Well done, sir.
So I really enjoyed it. It literally gets like 2 endorsed thumbs up from old Natalia.
Well, and it's less of an investment, so that's always an easy one.
I'm trying to look up how long those episodes were.
It says 35 minutes on MDL.
Yeah, they were not long episodes, and it was only 8 episodes. Yeah, so they're like between 30 and 38 minutes per episode. Very stylistic, very fun. A plus from old Natalia. I really enjoyed it.
So I watched KinnPorsche this month, but it's because I had about 8-9 episodes to watch. I had to watch a fair chunk of it. I really enjoyed it. It's very, very bingeable. We talk way more about it on our spoilers live stream, so go check
if you go to our YouTube channel and you go into past videos, you'll see it. It'll be right there.
But you can tell us like a bit about it, like non-spoiler way, like your specific feelings towards it, in case someone can't
have time to do that
right now.
So I will echo this. I did say this during the live stream as well, but KinnPorsche is not the 100% hard-hitting, gritty show that you maybe think it is based on possibly trailers or something. I'm not saying that there are not moments of that. There are. However, it is balanced out with a fair bit of neutral or just comedy, or even there's a lot of cuteness. Like, there's definitely one entire episode that was pretty much just PPL commercials during cute moments with the main two characters, like, over and over again.
It's true. Listen, they gotta make that money.
It's an expensive show.
It's almost like it's self-aware, but not quite enough that they wink at the camera, if that makes sense. So they don't break the fourth wall, but they get close. So like, but not too far. Because how many bodyguards are really going to be that cute and funny together? Like, really? But that's what's happening a lot of the time.
I mean, I don't know any bodyguards, so it could be
personally. Maybe all. I
know a lot of them. We don't know. Like,
maybe that's mainly what bodyguards do.
Maybe that's the secret that we've all been missing.
Some bodyguards are like watching the show and going, "Finally, I feel represented."
Finally.
Whenever people, there's that picture of Jason Momoa with his bodyguards and these like two tiny short guys, and it's like, maybe that's it. He's just keeping them around because they're his bros who watch it like weird soap operas with him. Like,
there is a character that like watches K-dramas a lot, and that's fun.
He's the best. He's the best character.
And they watch like horror films too, and then he's like not good at it.
Yeah,
hands down, freaking
best
out.
Character of the show. Personally thinking.
But yeah, I mean, it's an adult show, so go in knowing that there's adult themes, and that's going to be a thing. And it is definitely mafia, so they do have pew pews doing pew pew things.
If you can't handle some nude batak, this may not be the show for you.
Or maybe they could watch the TV. We don't know. None of us watched the TV version.
We never watched the TV version.
They have no batak. We could have blurred batak. We don't know.
We don't know. We didn't know what they cut. Is it they cut blood or they cut like nudity? What? Who knows?
We don't know.
Maybe they cut both of the episodes are pretty short.
Very tame. It's just the comedy cut. It's just the comedy reel, no plot.
But I mean, it's actually really charming. I mean, I really think if you had to do percentages as far as the hard-hitting, tough stuff is maybe only 20%, maybe 30%. And I'm not saying the rest of it's like pratfalls. That's not true. There's plot. It's just a lot of it's more neutral, not blood fling. It's not.
Yeah. It can't all.
It's not Carter the Thai drama.
There needs to be some plot in between that,
What's also funny is if you watch like I couldn't remember if it was a trailer or if it was the first episode that shows like this like slow motion gunfight, and then it never comes up again until like the second to last episode or the last episode, and then it comes up again. You're like, there it is, there that is again.
We've been waiting for you. Just a slow motion firefight.
Now, and if you want a lot of nice tailored suits and expensive Maseratis and
that ombre, the black red ombre suit.
Ooh, yeah.
Really pretty buildings. Like,
good settings.
Their interior design is
pretty good soundtrack. Like we've had some fun.
I really enjoy the soundtrack.
But
and then they'll give you like the Thai version of the song and then the English version of the song, not just like on Spotify or whatever, but like they'll put it like at the end or the beginning.
It would be a good soundtrack for like working out.
Yeah, it would be. I was reading that the lyrics in Thai and English are actually slightly different, and one of the versions is the song as though it was from Kinn's perspective, and the other one is the song as though it was from
Thanks.
Porsche's
That's so
perspective.
cool.
So I think that's
Oh.
really cool. Yeah.
That's neat.
It definitely has, like, you don't get a ton of domestic vibes, but it's just like, oh, boyfriends. There's a lot of boyfriends moments.
Boyfriends.
Oh, you kooky kids.
To me, if someone's on the fence about it, I'd say, I mean, if you really don't like boom booms and stuff, and if you don't want sex scenes, like, that's probably not your jam. But if you're okay with those things.
I feel like someone who's like really against sex scenes and violence, like they would just look at the trailer and be like, no.
No, not
No,
for me.
Like, the trailer has both of those things in it.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, we're good.
So I do think like the tone of the show is a little different from the trailer, but as far as the trailer sells you a bill of goods that is eventually given to you over time.
Yeah, like
So,
it's there. Like it's not even like it's
not deceptive in any way.
it's
Right.
You will see what is in the trailer like eventually. So it's not like it
Yes.
was like edited weird and then you're like I don't even remember what that part in that trailer was. You can tell.
Yeah.
I thought, now that like having watched the full show, thinking back to the trailer, pretty accurate trailer.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I also think that like the first episode is a pretty great representation of what you're going to get
The
for the
whole
entire
show.
series.
Mhm.
The
So.
balance from episode 1, I believe, carries through the entire show, which I often enjoy. Not entirely serious shows the entire time. I like breaks, not super heavy comedy, but just enough for me to be haha and then go on. Like
like
I enjoy that.
Oh, you guys.
Like Firefly, you have
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
peaks and
Yeah.
valleys the whole time.
You have
Exactly.
the most tragic, horrific stuff. And then you got a fun episode where they're gonna go to a ball on some backwoods planet. Like you get a little bit of both,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Amanda, have you been watching anything else?
I have. I started watching the new Ji Chang Wook one. If You Wish Upon Me. Which, okay, loved the first episode. Absolutely loved it. Very sort of a poem a day meets Navalera. I mean, Ji Chang Wook plays a character who has just gotten out of prison. He has screwed over the gangsters that, like, he went to prison for stealing or something, and they want their money. And he's like, oh no, I passed off the money. And then he goes to get his dog from his best friend, the vet, and like the bag full of money is also at the vet's. So like
I was worried for a second about the dog. Oh my god.
Okay, well, and you should be, because the dog is dying. The dog has stage 4 cancer.
No.
Yes.
So I was gonna watch this show. Nope.
So, and the dog is the only thing he has in life. He grew up
It's
abused.
a real John Wick
He went to, like,
situation.
it's very, and so then the other half, like the other aspect of this drama, is that it is mostly takes place in a hospice for stage 4 cancer patients, where they go to die, and there is a team there, that Team Genie, that tries to provide them with their wishes in the, their dying wishes.
So they're like a low
And they
budget
are taking this guy. He wants to die, like he wants to go die next to his wife's grave. He wants to be with his wife and in those final moments. So they're taking her in an ambulance, and Ji Chang Wook's character has used his stolen money to buy a fancy car, and he is taking his dog to the ocean so that they can go. He's going to go commit suicide with the dog in his arms so they can die together in the ocean. Like, this is his plan. But he causes a car accident because the gangsters come after him, and breaks the leg of the guy driving the ambulance. So the guy driving the ambulance is like, you have to drive this ambulance so we can get this guy there so he can, die.
And the dog's okay?
The dog's okay. Dog's okay. Okay. I'm finished episode 2, and still the dog is fine. Okay.
To anyone
you know
who's
that
wondering,
the
look right.
the look of horror on all 3 of our faces as we listen to this.
Listen, guys, I can, having watched as many K-dramas as I have, I can pretty much guarantee you this dog is going to die in episode 14 or 15. Like, this is where we're going to,
Yeah.
this is what they're going for.
But it'll be like like a really happy death somehow or something.
Or
Somehow,
like
right?
very inspirational and show how that dog affected him and like made him who he is.
It's very so like the guy grabs him and forces him to drive the ambulance for this whole thing, but then he sees him trying to commit suicide and stops him, and then
do I need a special license
through all
to
this
drive an ambulance?
not
Probably.
really
Not in
just have to,
Not in kdrama.
you know.
Okay.
So he's not a paramedic, right? He's
Time
just
is of
driving.
the essence, Natalia.
Yeah, sorry. I was
We're
getting,
we're trying
I was
to move the dying guy to
I was
get to
getting
the
lost in the sauce. Okay.
So he's like, so in the whole scenario of this, what we've seen is that the guy who works at the hospice, he sees a burn scar on Ji-Chang's back, and realizes that this is this kid that he recognizes, and you see some flashbacks. So he feels like not in debt to this kid, but like he owes this kid because he was in a bad place in the past. We also, through the first episode, like you find out this guy used to be homeless. He used to be maybe an addict of some sort, and he's changed his life, and now he's trying to like change the lives of others, and you know. But in this flashback, you see that he saw this kid, and you just kind of the picture I'm getting of it is that he wasn't in a place to help this kid's life and stop him from being abused at the time, because he was being abused by the dad as well, like as a, you know, whatever they were into together. But he feels bad about it now as an adult who's on track, looking back at his life going, I was an adult and I didn't do anything to help that kid who needed help, right? So he's trying to help him now. So he was going to go to jail again for causing this big car accident with the ambulance and everything. And the ambulance driver guy goes to the judge who he knows. And he says, you know what? I'm injured. We could use a new ambulance driver. What if he does community service instead of going to jail? Like, wouldn't that be better? So now he is doing community service at the hospice. And
in most cases, most people who are headed to jail, usually for drug things, community service is a better option.
Right. So he's his character in this, he's doing really well. Like, I'm really enjoying him in it. He's so broken, but like trying. Like he very much sees things and like doesn't know how to fix them because he has no good thing in his past that can help him to express or help other people. But like he sees somebody who wants to commit suicide and he wants to stop them. He doesn't know how, he doesn't know why he wants to stop them, but like, I know that this would not be a good idea for you, so I should try and stop you. He sees these people who are sick arguing with each other and he's like, okay, y'all are dying. Like, let's not go out this way, folks. Like, let's have a good, let's do. So he's really trying and he's doing really sweet things. And so the first 2 episodes, like I would say 95% of it, so on board, loving it. But then they throw in these like 5 minutes in episode 2 where you're seeing the gangsters that he's running from. And it is so tonally different and like incredibly violent, and like they're like stomping on this guy's head and torturing him. You see blood, you see like, and I'm just like, okay, can we go back to the like
this is a different show now?
What are we doing? And it was so unpleasant to watch and uncomfortable. And I was like, this doesn't go with the rest of what you're doing here. Can we not? Like, yeah. So I literally almost turned it off and said, I don't think I want to watch this show. But I just kind of fast forwarded through that bit and then it was over. And I watched the rest of the episode and they never came back again.
And statistically, because that's the way dramas do sometimes, they'll give you that one.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're showing you what these bad dudes, they're real bad.
Yeah, like, they're real bad.
They're real bad.
Hit the tension a little, like be like, oh, this is basically a Chekhov's gun. Like these bad dudes are gonna come back. Just wait.
Yeah, which there obviously are.
Guys. The bad guys so bad.
But yeah.
So, because they showed the gangsters, and if the gangsters ever come back, does that mean that like the hospice people are all gonna get guns and like go up against the gangsters and stuff? Because that sounds really entertaining.
I feel like it's like
Okay, because there's a super found family going on at the hospice, like because the hospice is run like it's a nun run, like there's nuns there, but then there's like doctors and nurses and everything, and then there are like the staff who like work in the kitchens and stuff, and there's people like from each department who are involved in this Team Genie. And so they've got this like found family thing going on, and they, try to make sure that you get to eat your favorite meal for your last meal. And Ji Chang-wook's like sitting there like, yeah, I'm not going to eat kimbap with you people. Like, your food looks crappy and I'm not going to eat. Like, he's just being a jerk, right? And then he's like going to leave that night, and the like cook comes over and she goes, "You said you didn't like the bibimbap that I made, but here, these are really yummy and everybody likes them. So why don't you like?" She folded up and made this cute little dinner for him. He's like, "What the heck, old woman? Like, what are you doing?" But then he's like, "Okay, I guess I'll eat home cooked meal. Like, fine.
Like, if I have to, I'll eat a home cooked meal, I guess."
So, and part of the reason why he agreed to take on this community service hours is because his dog is dying. He wants him to be at the hospice with the people who are also dying.
Oh no.
So like I thought I could watch this show. No.
I like it. No, not at all.
And the dog's super cute.
I could probably watch it. I like sad, but
yeah, like I mean, the dog's just super cute. And the dog's fine. Like, the dog is always fine in every scene you see.
Natalia had a senior dog health scare recently. Yeah, she's like,
it's like fresh in her memory.
Like literally yesterday.
We like right before we started recording this, she was talking about it.
Yeah,
so fresh in our mind.
It was nothing. Diablo was fine.
Diablo was fine. Right?
Totally fine.
Yeah.
It was
He's
all
a drama queen. But yeah, so I mean, I think I'm gonna keep watching it because I'm just gonna fast forward every time the gangsters show up, so that I don't have to.
That's fine.
See them
do what you got.
beating and
do what you got.
Like, dude was like naked on a gymnasium floor, bloody, and like, I was like, where did this come from? It was just too much.
It's kind of like that could have been off camera, given the show that we're showing mostly.
Given that, what else you're giving me here? Like the sweetness, the cuteness, the sad, but like the bittersweet, right? Like it's the happy sad, because it's like we're giving these people their final wishes. It's they're gonna die anyway. It's a hospice. Like they got nowhere. There's nowhere to go from here, right? So at least they can die happy, which is nice.
What about you, Jessie? Have you had time to watch anything else?
Yes. So last night, Thursday, I was searching my drama list for upcoming shows, so they're happening in September, because if you're listening to this when we release it on Monday, like later tonight, we will have a live stream where we talk about what's coming up in September, so dramas and stuff. And I was like just scrolling through trying to find like what's new and if I had missed something, or if like something had like a confirmed date or anything like that. And I don't know if you've noticed this on my drama list. I feel like it's fairly new, because it used to not happen, and I used to like search a lot on my drama list. It does like featured posts now, and it's like the first 2 posts on the page are the featured posts, and they have nothing to do with like your search. And so this drama caught my eye when I was doing it. It's not a drama that like is going to air. It's already aired. So that's why it was like, it caught my eye because of that, but also because of the name of it, because the name of it is, I don't know why it's named the way it is, because it doesn't make any sense to why it's named the way it is. Like no sense whatsoever. And I was like, oh, I'm intrigued. And I clicked on the thing and I like looked a little bit to see if anybody would say anything about why it was named the way it is. And nobody really said anything. And then I didn't want to kind of like spoil myself, because it started to get like interesting. And I was like, this seems weird. maybe what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell you about this show, and then I will tell you the title of it.
Okay.
Okay.
This sounds like a fun
It
game.
feels like a fun little like we have to guess the title.
Yeah. You will definitely not guess the title for sure, but it'll be fun, like hearing your opinion once you actually know the like synopsis of it.
Mhm.
So the show is from 2019. It's a Hong Kong drama, which I think is the first Hong Kong drama that I've watched. I've watched movies, but I haven't watched them. It's like a supernatural horror series. Essentially, what happens is this guy gets a job as the like maintenance worker at this like apartment complex. It's like apartment complex, but I think there's also some shops at the base level of it, which is kind of normal in those types of places. So he gets this job at this apartment complex to do, you know, maintenance and that sort of thing. And it like kind of focuses on the characters of the apartment complex. They're all like kind of like quirky and goofy, and they're completely different. Like everybody has a different story, everybody's different jobs, different everything. And while he's there, he starts to like pick up on some weird things that are happening. Like he'll go to sleep or fall asleep, and then like he'll have a dream of this woman who's trying to attack him, and then he wakes up, and then like he'll see like a cat around all the time, or just like weird little things. But also like the residents are kind of like kooky and like they're crazy characters. Things are starting to happen, and so it's like he's like starting to try to figure out what's going on with this. I've only watched one episode of it, so like I haven't gotten like too far into the mysteries and stuff of that sort of thing, but it's got this like really great kind of, it's not like the best. It's not the best acting, and it's like very corny and very cheesy, but it has that feel of like kind of some of the like old school like horror shows you'd see on like Prog, like you know, Tales of the Crypt, or like even like a little bit of an air of like Murder, She Wrote type thing, like that kind of like vibe to it, you know. And the like the residents are kind of endearing in a way, like they're all like so like crazy and just off the wall, but like they all like come together to complain about things, and like that's this kind of the start of like how he starts like figuring out things, is because there's like lots of rats like showing up, but they show up in weird times, like and in a like, and so like the residents are like, this is a nuisance thing, and then he's like, this seems weird because it's just this like weird thing that's happening. So do you even have
I have absolutely no idea what this title is,
especially since you said it doesn't relate to anything.
But like the way that you're laughing, I feel like this is going to be an incredibly unhinged title.
So the title of the show is Barrack Karma.
Wait, what is it?
Barrack Karma. And the only thing I can guess in the entire like thing is that he is listed, that's his name, but like the way that like MDL has it, it's like listed multiple names, and I don't know if that's like a thing in Hong Kong, like per their like naming conventions, that like it's a thing, or if it's something that's like a thing within the series.
I feel like I've seen that on MDL before.
Yes. But they don't mention it at all. It's not like he was like in a situation, well, at least I didn't like see it, like in a situation where they're like, what's your name? And he was like, Barrack Karma. And that's like, you know, like there's no mention of it whatsoever in this first episode at all. Like you don't like hear the like characters call him by that. They kind of mostly call him like, you know, worker or like maintenance guy, you know, like it's I
love that it's written with like an apostrophe, like it's an Irish name.
Yeah. I kind of like it. Like I think I'm gonna actually keep up with it. Like it's definitely not a show that's good enough to binge, but I think like once in a while, like an episode, especially now because we're getting into like spookier season. It's like popular enough that there was a second season, and I think it aired this year or beginning of last year into this year. So it's popular enough, and like when you go onto the like MDL, the reviews of it, they're like, I'm surprised how much I like this show, and like that's what kind of like drew me to it. Besides like the first initial like title, I was like, what is going on here? It is on. Okay, I forget. Let me bring it up. It's a streaming service called TVB Anywhere for free. There were no ads. It was subbed. And it was a legit site because it was literally the site that MDL gave you, like in there, found on. Yeah. I didn't check the site to see if there are different dramas too, which might be. It might be. I have a feeling it's just all Hong Kong dramas, maybe like the cable service or something. Yeah, it was super easy. Like
that's cool though, because like Hong Kong dramas don't pop up that.
No, they don't. And so I'm wondering if they're all on this service, which I had never heard of before. So that's kind of nice. I mean, like I didn't even get ads. Like I don't even. It was fine. Yeah, it's like 20 episodes, but they're like 40, 45 minutes long, so it's not terrible. But yeah,
TVB Anywhere has little B as their like little logo spokesperson. That's kind of cute.
I think it's like TVB Anywhere US or NA or something. But like if you go to
North America,
go to the MDL for Barrack Karma. It's the section where he's like you can watch it and then you just click on the little icon.
I like that
it literally takes you right to the website. Yeah. That's amazing.
So I like again, it's not the best acting, it's not the best writing. It is definitely kind of like corny and cheesy, but it's just got that like fact or fiction beyond belief. That show when they do the reenactments, it's just kind of like you're still like having fun with it too. You're like, oh, okay, that's kind of
all right.
And there's no like Sky, you are still muted. But there's no like blood. Like it has like a little bit of blood, but it's not like anything like gory or anything. And so it's like it's spooky, but I wouldn't say it's scary, at least not yet. It's got kind of that like family like haunted house kind of vibe, that kind of level of spook.
Well, and as we've said, there's definitely place within it, like being entertained. It doesn't always have to be high art.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're looking for like a new horror, especially from a country that we don't talk about a lot and I don't actively find a lot, I think check it out because it's I've watched a couple of ones that are from Hong Kong, but they're all movies. So I haven't seen anywhere else that like has Hong Kong dramas. There's a lot of
stuff on that channel.
Yeah, so it might be like worth it just to even like look at that streaming service or whatever. Yeah.
Even when we were doing research on like the different streaming sites at the time, and we didn't know about that one, like Hong Kong doesn't show up all that often really anywhere.
Yeah.
Unless you're talking about the movies, like that is.
Yes, like Netflix has a couple of the movies and then like there's a couple on Shudder, at least one currently, because they do a fair amount of like horror. So I guess like 2B probably has more Hong Kong stuff, but that's usually where you're seeing like that. Cause I know there was another drama that I wanted to watch, like maybe like last year, I think I saw it and I could never find it. It was from Hong Kong. So like, I think maybe I'll like check to see if it's like migrated to there.
And you learned about a new streaming site.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
So that's always good.
So it worked. Whatever the reason why my drama list does those featured posts, I guess it works, even though it was definitely not in the I was looking at Korean dramas and upcoming and that was a featured post, so okay.
Oh my goodness, there's a drama called Al Capuchin. The names here are great.
I know. We love to see it.
They're all just
like to see it.
Names, like they're not, the titles are just always like that, but
yeah. So how about you, Natalia?
Okay. So I finally did it, guys. I finished Jinxed At First.
Yay!
I'm very patient waiting for it to end. And now I must say I really enjoyed the show. But the last 20 minutes sucked.
Oh no!
I was so sad. I was like,
like it just reverse everything or something?
No, it's like it didn't suck enough to like make the show not in good. Like, you know, sometimes like just the ending will be so bad that you're just like, what the? But like literally for the last 20 minutes, like the meme of like the little girl being like, what? Like, are you kidding me? Like, just like That was me. Just
No.
being like, really, this was the best idea you had of how to end this show.
So if someone stopped watching it before the last 20 minutes, would it be an okay ending for them?
It would actually be okay. I feel like a lot of real rom-com people would be very upset with what I'm about to say.
Uh-oh.
It would have been a tragic ending, but it would have been a better ending. If
Sometimes the tragic
Sometimes
endings are the
sometimes
better
it's
endings.
like,
It's true.
because
especially okay. The little I know of this show, there's enough supernatural characters or incarnations thereof or whatever. Sometimes the tragic ending is just what should be with those types of characters.
And
period.
It would have been a very sad ending, but it would have been a narratively cohesive ending. And I would have personally liked it better. But I will say this. Very enjoyable show. The cast, adorable. The comedy with some of like the side characters can be a little like over the top sometimes, but like it fits within like the vibe that this whole show has been putting out. So like even though it has really serious moments and like really over the top comedy, it never feels like you're in two different shows because they're all held together by like her character, like the main character who is from a really serious, terrible background, but knows nothing about the world, so is just so open and loving and like just accepting, so that it all ties in perfectly. God, I was just sitting there like,
so
I can't just
because
turn it off.
would you recommend it to people?
Yes, I do actually think it's a good show. And if you do watch it, y'all will know exactly the point that I'm talking about, where they should have just ended the show, and it would have been a better show. But so like, if it had a tragic ending, this would have been like a 9.5 out of 10 show for me. Like I really enjoyed it, but that ending pushed it down to like an 8. And
It always sucks, especially when it's like that far into it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it does suck when, you know, like the last 2 episodes like tank or whatever, but like at least there's like somewhat of like a normalcy in that you're like, okay, it sucks, but you know what, like I used to it. Like,
It is
that point
like,
where you're like 20 minutes out from the end, you shouldn't
like
be in a
you
scary
pretty much
spot.
have already let your guard down at that point.
Yeah, you're like,
as soon as I realized like what they were gonna do and then what they did, because it actually was like, I thought they were gonna do one thing, and then what it ended up with was worse than what I thought they were gonna do, and I was like,
that's kind of like
no.
What was the show that we watched, the mountain show last year?
Jury
Song.
Yeah, like it did that kind of thing where you're like, oh, I know what they're
like
doing.
there were a couple of levels of the end, and the one checkbox, it was like, oh, are you kidding me right now? And then they did the other checkbox, and it was like what? That's when you're like throwing up your hands and like.
I will say, the actor who played the eventual villain at the end, chef's kiss. I feel bad for the actor though, because he's like a good looking guy, but he's got evil face. Like, you know how there's like cop face, and then there's like douchebag face, and it's like gangster face, right?
Yeah.
This guy just sort of has like, oh, you're kind of a jerk. Like, he has like asshole face, and you're just like, oh, this poor guy. Like, he's probably a nice dude. I don't know what person. He could be an asshole. I don't know. But like, he did a really good job. And like the main dude, now in Wu, incredible. Like, because he goes through. His character goes through.
He
it.
should just play everything. He just
like,
really needs to go reshoot for all
he's
of the
literally the perfect male lead in this. Like, you're just like, yes, absolutely. And she's so cute. And then like you have like I hesitate to call him a second male lead because like he never had a chance. He was excellent. Like everyone in it was really, all like the little side characters of like the people who work at the market where the main guy has a fish shop, like they were all delightful. Like the woman playing her mother was incredible. But like I was so bummed. I was like, oh, like it wasn't like the worst ending I'd ever seen, but I was like, really? Like this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing.
Sounds like it makes the list of bad endings, though.
For me personally, like
Yeah.
other people may enjoy this ending fine if they really need it to have a happy ending. But I just feel like it would be a better show if it didn't have a happy ending. Because the ending made everything.
Yeah.
Mini spoiler alert: the ending made everything and all the choices that she chose to do meaningless.
Well, that's what
I hate that. That's the worst
See,
ending.
when it reverses all of the work that a character put
I
in to
hate
do
that.
whatever.
When it
I
makes
hate
everything that you just watched pointless.
It takes away like the things that she sacrificed. There's no matter anymore. It was like there was no weight to it anymore. And I'm just like, oh.
I hate that. I hate that.
But it was fun. It was a fun show. It was a fun show. So for 99% of the show, I loved it.
So sometimes it is you got an HEA, but like at what cost?
Exactly.
At what cost?
I literally read a book recently, and I got excited at about the 80% mark because I was like, oh, they're gonna kill the male lead. Oh my god, they're gonna do it, aren't they? I was so excited, and then they didn't, and I was like, dang. Because it was a terrible book, and these people should not be writing books. But like, yeah, I was like, are they going to do something exciting and interesting? No, of course they're not. These are. It was a book that was written by two people who, prior to writing this book, have only ever written Hallmark Christmas movies.
There was no way.
There was no way.
To quote Eric Nam on today's episode of Dish Granted that he was in, that just dropped, don't have any expectations because then you can't be disappointed.
True.
Eric Nam, he's so like nihilist about things.
I know.
It's awesome.
He's so funny. Anyway, you should go check out that episode of Dish Granted if you haven't seen it. It's on YouTube. It was fine. It's on Viki for anyone who does want to watch it because 99% of the show was really good.
Like, I might still watch it. I don't know. Knowing that going in, I think helps me. Knowing going in helps me.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, I haven't seen him in anything. Like, I think that would be a fun one to at least, or I might do my whole, I watch 1 to 4 episodes, get a taste of the characters, and just kind of go about my life. Sometimes I do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've seen a lot of people tweeting about this, so I decided to start it. It's a C-drama. It's called Love Between Fairy and Devil.
It's on my list to watch.
Dylan Wang is great in it. I'm very, very much enjoying him. I adore him. He's such a sweetie. And I mean, his wig game in this is delightful. Like, it is full zhezhia.
Listen, some of these some of these Chinese historicals, them wigs though.
Yeah,
the perruquiers going,
and he's got different colored ones going. Like it's a thing. It's good. She is a fairy. She's an orchid fairy. So like plants become fairies, but her immortal root was damaged at birth. But she was almost thrown away by the gardener. But this other guy came and like saved her. He was like, maybe this orchid will turn into something great. You don't know, like, give it a shot. And so she, the problem is they're dubbing her with baby voice, and it's so annoying. Like, it's so wickedly annoying. And I was like, it fits the character because she is so like cutesy and kind of like, okay. But I'm like, this is going to get old. And then in the second episode, there's a body swap that happens between her and Dylan Wang's character because she tries to save the life of the guy who saved her life. And it causes her to be like, they're trying to like reseal Dylan Wang's evil devil back into his evil universe or whatever. And it causes her to get sucked into the like Dylan Wang prison. And somehow in that, of course, she gets sucked in. She's floating around. It's gorgeous. Like, let me tell you, the CGI for these sets and scenes are absolutely incredible. Very, very pretty to watch. And then of course, she falls into him and, kiss, like she falls first into him and they kiss, and somehow that causes.
So this is like in the spirit realm or whatever.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
okay.
like
That makes it like a level funnier to me.
Yeah.
Right
So and then she wakes up and she's walking towards herself, sitting in a field, and
I love a good body swap, man.
And now she is not dubbed with baby voice; she's just dubbed with regular voice because technically it's the devil inside of her body, like they've body swapped and everything. So he's like, you have, because you're in my body, you have the power now to like set us free and fix this. He's like, we just have to do whatever it was we were doing. Like he was asleep, unconscious or whatever when it happened. So he's like, whatever it was that we did that caused this, we have to do it again. And she's like, no, I'm good. Like I don't.
She's like, actually,
So
I kind of really like this new vibe that I've got going on.
yeah, he's like, let me show you. You have power now. She's like, oh my gosh, I have power now. Like, cool. And she's talking great, and I'm like, okay, please. And a lot of people are like, nah, they switch back. Like, it's not like the whole drama is them switched. I'm like, dang it, the baby voice is coming back. But so we'll see. I know a lot of people that I've seen talk about it. I'm only 2 episodes in. They're like, they stuck with it through the first couple episodes, and then they really started to enjoy it. So I'll probably give it a couple more episodes. I will say at this point, it has not really. I really enjoyed the second episode. Like once Dylan Wang's character shows up, I found it a lot more interesting. The first episode is basically just her really beautiful, gorgeous things that she's doing with this garden, and her friends are all like roses and things that like come to life, and like beautiful to watch and really pretty, but like narratively kind of like, okay, whatever. So, and then, Dylan Wang shows up and it gets weird and fun. And, but so we'll see, but it is very, very pretty. It's so very pretty. Like, yeah, very pretty.
Is it a lot of episodes long?
Yeah, I bet.
I cannot remember if it's a 24 or a 36. I think it's a 36.
Let me check it out.
Yeah,
So,
let's see for
let
a
me
second.
check
36. 36 on iQIYI.
Yeah. So
I think it's also on Viki.
It is. It's also on Viki.
Okay.
So
and WeTV.
And WeTV. Viki and WeTV,
Yeah.
not iQIYI. Yeah. Or,
Okay,
no, it must
yeah.
be on iQIYI.
But
too.
it's an
on
iQIYI drama.
iQIYI, right?
It is. It like every time the credits come up, it's iQIYI, la la la, and you're like, why is this not on iQIYI?
I could not figure out iQIYI's rules with that stuff for the life
I know.
of me.
And cdramas are also like weird because they'll be like, we're airing on 4 different platforms in the same country.
And you're like, every single platform says they're the only platform airing.
Yeah.
And you're like, but you're not
exclusive to this. I'm like, you sure? You sure, fam?
This is a lie.
Okay.
Why are you so
say
full
so?
of lies?
So
Lies
you
and
can watch it
deceit.
wherever you pretty much feel like.
Except
You can
not
probably
Netflix.
find it.
Not
Yeah,
Netflix.
except for Netflix. But
Okay.
no.
So I started at the very beginning of this month, this Taiwanese drama that I found called Who's By Your Side. I didn't check, but I might be telling you a drama that you can't find anymore because this drama was on HBO Max, and therefore is it part of what they cut, or do they not even care and it's still there? Who knows? I don't know.
I will go look this weapon.
So
That's
I randomly found it because I have HBO Max like access here, and I was looking through their catalog at some of their movies and stuff, and I just saw this random Taiwanese drama, and I was like, that's interesting. I want to check it out. It is like kind of a horror, but like at the point that I'm at, it's not really a horror at this point, but I think it's like starts to develop more as the series continues.
It is still there.
Okay.
At least for the US. So.
So there you go. It's not part of the cuts. Maybe they just don't even care, or international rules get to be different, which as possible.
Okay.
Because I think also with HBO Max, not to divert this, they were getting rid of anything that would give them tax cuts, and I guess a different country's drama is not going to give them tax cuts. Like, they'll probably have to pay more. So
yeah, they're making very questionable decisions at the moment.
Yeah. So. Well, did you see that? The internal doc that got leaked, basically they're just trying to make it a conservative platform.
Yeah.
Ooh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. It was that they were trying to get middle America. That's what their goal is for it.
HBO
Middle America
as
of
all the platforms, and especially like this is a platform that people have been praising. Film critics and everybody have been praising this platform, and they just Warner, we know you like to screw over people.
Yeah.
Like we know.
We get it.
Listen to our first episode of this podcast. We know.
Like,
how do you keep on doing this? They've like wasted so much money.
So much money.
Yeah. Anyways, so this Taiwanese drama. So I really am in the first bits of it, and it was at the very beginning. So I don't know much about it. It's kind of like a psychological thriller about this married couple that like there's some things going on. There's a lot of messiness, like, and it's like they're an older couple, so it's like a lot of stuff like the husband making the wife do a bunch of different things and that sort of thing, and just kind of like the late stages of a relationship, and through like kind of the things that are happening and kind of the tensions like mounting of stress, not only in this but like, you know, keeping a home, family, other outside things are brought up, and it alludes to stuff that happened in the past. And there is something at the very beginning of the first episode that you see of this like scene where like someone's committing suicide in a bathroom, and it's very like slasher-esque in its styling. So I think it will kind of jump back to that. I don't know the connection between the couple we're watching and that first thing yet. But it's interesting enough that I will probably continue, and I should actually probably really aggressively continue before it goes away. And I'm certainly not going to pay for HBO Max to get it, so I might as well use it. But it's interesting, and I thought like it's another show that like I could share with someone who probably hasn't heard of it yet. Yeah. It's a fairly new show. It came out last year. So there's that. So I think it actually came out on HBO Max, because when you search the title, you get a lot of Western articles like Deadline and Variety and all those things doing like a little synopsis of it. And like, you know, they're doing that like, should you watch it or should you not type
watch or drop?
Yeah, that sort of like journalism. So I feel like it came out basically to HBO Max. There is a character in this show, because I was kind of going through the actor list to see if I knew of anybody in the show, if I had seen them before. And I hadn't, but one of the like main actresses in the show is one of the, I haven't seen the movie yet. There's a Taiwanese drama that just came out. Oh my gosh. With the woman whose husband or father dies, and then she goes to like, she wants to go and buy a new place, and it was like an older lady taking care, like,
oh yeah, Amanda, you would watched it.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah. It's it's like her, on her journey, like late in life, that she wants to start doing stuff with her life.
Oh yeah,
Netflix,
the one on Netflix. Yeah.
But like, Mom Don't Do That one, or that other one.
I think it's not a comedy. I think it's like a more of like she gets inheritance, and then she starts to want to do stuff with her life. One of the actors in that is in that movie. So if you're looking for a new Taiwanese drama and you want it's there. It might start to get like even more. I feel like it's a slow burn type of like show too. So like I can't say for sure if it's going to be like say for everybody's, or if it's going to start to get into a point. The first little bit of it with the suicide was kind of graphic, so therefore I think it's going to start to get that. And all the tags for it are horror, despite it having horror right now. So I think it's going to just start to keep getting worse and worse and worse as we progress on.
Also, one of the you know how on Netflix or any of these other platforms you have screenshots of each episode,
Mhm.
you know, like a thumbnail for each episode. So one of them looks really interesting with like a face tattoo situation.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, it's like messiness already. Like, you know, there's like tension in the relationship, and then the husband obviously is not in love with her, and like there, you know, like he's
Yeah.
doing stuff at work and like bad stuff, but like also gambling stuff too. So there's a lot of like tension that's
it
going
looks
to go
like-
into that psychological thriller aspect.
And only 10 episodes, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
That's short for a Taiwanese.
Yeah.
So cool.
So I will just very quickly sum up the like clip reel of what I've been spending my time watching. Because you think to yourself, she watched like almost an entire 56 episode. What else? No. You don't know. I've had nothing to do this month. Okay, so I've been watching as it airs. I know I'm crazy. Today's Webtoon, but like, listen, Troy Daniel, he just.
Yeah.
It also has the dude in it who played like the cousin and best friend in The King's Affection, who I think has the friendliest face of anyone I've ever seen in my life. Like his face just looks really, he has friend face. Like anyway,
Nam Yoon Soo?
I think so, yeah.
He looks like Jasper.
Yeah, he
little
has
bit.
friend face. Like when he smiles, you're like, oh.
Oh,
But also you have like Sejong in it.
She is so cute in this. Like she's just endearingly, she's just peppy and like really passionate, and you're just like, oh my god, she's so cute. Like for example, there's a really funny scene where like her and the guy with friend face, like he challenges her to like a race, like they're jogging in the morning, and so in this she's a judo. She was a judo athlete who decides to give up judo and go work as an editor at a webtoon company. And then there's all this sort of like office politics because it was a webtoon company that was bought out by like a big like a Naver type company, and so like they're constantly like fighting against, you know, people who want to get rid of the web, you know, all that nonsense. But there's this one scene where this sort of like embodies her personality, where he challenges her to like a race because they're both going for a morning jog, and so he like wins by like an inch, and then he's like, haha, now you like owe me breakfast. She's like, yep. And then she leans down and pulls up the hem of her sweatpants and takes 10-pound weights off of each ankle, and then she's like, I guess you got me this time. And his face is just like, what? Like, so it's sort of like that vibe. It's like really, really lovely. It's a very nice watch. You enjoy watching it. I finished. I watch good things. I watch questionable things. I finished Love Mechanics, and
did he ever stop being trash?
No, of course he didn't stop being trash. The main character continued to be trash. The other main character continued to be a doormat.
Do you recommend Love Mechanics to anybody?
Like,
listen, their chemistry is so good.
Their chemistry is fantastic, but like when you have a character and his best friends on the show are telling this guy like, nah, this guy's a piece of shit, like you should definitely like not give him the time of day. How are you as an audience supposed, these are his best friends, his closest friends, and they're like, no, you can do so much better, this guy sucks. And you're like, yeah, he does suck, but it's well acted. Like, so it is.
So no, you do not recommend it, really.
If you liked the original miniseries, you're gonna like the show. If you like Yin War as actors, you're gonna enjoy it because it's them doing their thing. And let me tell you, War is the cutest bean you've ever seen. Like, he spends most of the show being sad, so you just want to like.
I love how their names often don't really describe them as people.
No.
Yeah.
You know, like War being adorable or Bible being really not that.
Yeah, just Bible. Just Bible. Just being the most unholy man you've ever seen. So I watched. It was fine. It was fine. Okay, so that's on WeTV. Today's Webtoon is on Viki. I watched in preparation for our incredible marriage contract live stream, which everyone should go watch. It's you can watch the replay on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/certifiednunas. I watched the cdrama Perfect and Casual. Really enjoyed it. I thought it was like,
wow, you didn't watch it back in the day, huh?
No, I didn't. I watched it literally last week, like up in like on Monday. I finished it on Monday. It's cute. It was really cute. I enjoyed it. Like it was really cute. I finished my Secret Love, which is on YouTube. Oh, Perfect and Casual is on iQIYI, I believe. I finished my Secret Love on YouTube. It was very cute. Technically, almost a contract drama, but not. We also discussed that on our thing. You can go check that out. I've also started literally today, against my own better judgment, on iQIYI. The infamous Mame has a new show. She's who created such incredible hits as Tharn Type and Love by Chance, with not at all questionable characters in any way. And this is.
There was a sarcastic eye roll. Just
if you know, you know.
I will say that this, from the first 2 episodes, this is more in line with her show Don't Say No, which I actually genuinely enjoyed, than it is. But it has sort of like a real dom sub vibe to it. There's like a hot motorcycler and like, guess what? They were engineering students. They were engineering students. Like, so they're falling back on the old classics. There's only 2 episodes out.
And what's the title?
It's called Love in the Air. It's on iQIYI.
Oh.
And the reason it's called Love in the Air is because one of their names is Rain, and the other one's name is Payu, which means storm.
I remember us talking about that when it was going to come out.
And the other one's going to be like Cloud and Anyway, we haven't gotten to them yet. We're still
the whole synopsis leans hard into like the weather
into their names.
Stuff.
Like it's all just a giant pun.
Yeah.
We're only focused on Rain and Payu at this point, and it's exactly what you would expect. But I'm like, okay, this is what we're getting. And finally, I know I've watched other things. This is all I could. I don't want to bore you forever. I've been watching the Fluke show, Oh My Sunshine Night. I feel like they got done dirty by the script writer of this drama, because like they're great, but the script is a mess. Like, so the show's kind of a mess, but it has like one funny element that I'm just sitting here and I am just mystified about, and that is like, so plays the son of this like rich business dude, and so Ohm's character is like an award-winning cellist. Like he's a university student, but he's like an award-winning cellist. Okay. And so he's just like fucking incredible with the cello, but he's like very tsundere, like, like very emotional. So everyone's like, oh, he's like the ice prince or whatever. Anyway, his dad is like borderline, not even borderline. His dad is incredibly psychologically and emotionally abusive. And he's like, what are you going to do with that shit? Like, you got to give up this and like come work for the family business. He has an older brother who's already agreed to go work for the family business. So I'm sitting here like, he's like, what can you do with like music? And I'm like, have y'all never heard of Yo-Yo Ma? Like, I just, like, listen.
Like if he's already like award winning, like
winning,
let him go.
Like getting like offers from like, like symphonies worldwide. And I'm like, why
what can you do with that? He's already doing things with it.
Why would you like, clearly at some point in his life you were like, yes, what a great idea, sign my kid up for cello lessons, and he was like a cello phenom. So why now are you like, this cello shit can't get you anywhere? And I'm like, he's already
there. What are you talking about?
He has arrived already.
I know, and his dad just like, yeah, you're graduating in a year, so finally you'll have to like do your duty and come work for the family business. And I'm like, why? That would be the most insane thing for this person to. Anyway,
I never understand why in dramas they're like, you have to come work for the family business when the person clearly has no head for business. How is that going to be good for your family business? Like, why do you want them there? They're going to ruin your business. Like,
why do you like? Clearly, he just wants to play the cello and he likes swimming. Those are his two things. And you're just like, well, I guess you're going to be great in the real estate game. Why would he's a cello player. Why would he be great in the real estate business? Anyway, I think it's adorable as always. There's a wild cast of characters that just there's too many characters on the show. There's too many characters and that do nothing for the main plot. And I'm like, why are we focusing on these two dudes having homoerotic fencing matches? Like, what are we doing here? What is the point? So anyway, it's a bit of a mess, but like, I got a bit of brand loyalty to the Fluke brand, so gotta do the thing. So yeah, that's basically. There's more.
I have one thing that I wanted to say because technically this is something we all watched. Yes, during this month, because it's only been a month since I've been here. War of Why. Right, we did watch that. We watched the first episode of that. We have a full first impressions episode. I wanted to mention it just today because I think it's beneficial. Yeah. Gaga Ooh La La officially picked it up and it started today on Gaga Ooh La La.
Gaga Ooh La La is
I feel like they're airing it. Does it? It felt like that. I haven't actually gone to look.
They're doing it behind.
The social media looked like it was kind of timing it out, not giving us what is already out right now and then.
Yeah, I think they're airing it a week or two behind
which we had just found out a couple of days ago that they were going to be doing this and we were excited. Also, we mentioned in that episode specifically, we talk about how there's all this text on the screen and they don't translate it.
Well, in the completely on the up and up version that we watched.
Well, it's not translated on how do you AIS Play or whatever it is?
AIS Play, yeah.
But Gaga Ooh La La officially stated that they will be translating those things too.
Yay!
So
listen, I'm telling you, Gaga Ooh La La is I have only one problem with Gaga Ooh La La, and that it doesn't have a fast forward tap and a fast rewind tap on its app. That's my literally only problem. If it had those two features, it would be my favorite streaming service. Fucking love Gaga Ooh La La.
One other thing I do want to mention that we all did watch, it's just that we watched it the day or two after we did our last one of these podcast episodes. The movie Nana.
Oh,
Japanese,
so fun.
The Japanese 2005 movie.
So good.
Yeah, we really enjoyed that. And we'll probably be, checking out. I think there's a sequel, and then there's an anime.
There's an anime on Hulu. I found out yesterday, the other day, because this is not a thing. I mean, I'm going to tell this right now because I think it's very exciting. I was looking at the what's coming up, obviously, for the thing going on. Grid is listed on Hulu's what's coming up. And it's Grid season 1, and in parentheses it says subbed. So it has to be. I even looked. I didn't see any other international show called Grid. So kdramas that Disney usurped might be showing up for us now. Hopefully, so
that's what we love to see. We need to see it.
Yes, and I just want to take a quick moment to use our podcasting powers to speak into existence. I read a terrible book that would make a really, really good K-drama. And it's written by a Korean. And so I don't know if it's a terrible book because the translation is terrible or if it very much felt like this person who wrote this book wanted to be writing K-dramas because the premise is very good, but they don't put the connector sentences into things, so you're just suddenly into a new story, right? And you're like,
the prose
did we solve the last mystery? Did I miss? And it's 5 months later, and you're like, 5 months later, what? But you have to hear the premise of this, okay? The book is called Baekjo Laundry Has a Neat Answer to All Your Problems. So it already sounds like
a title whatsoever.
Right? Perfect. But the premise of this girl is at fashion school, college, to be a fashion designer or whatever. And her college goes bankrupt. And they have all of her tuition money. So she can't go somewhere else. She has no degree. She can't get a job. Her parents go, perfect. We have always wanted to travel the world. You have now inherited the family laundromat. come back home and run the laundromat. And she has nothing else to do, so she's like, guess I run the laundromat now. She moves back home to run this laundromat. She sits out in front of her laundromat wearing swimming goggles so she can watch the neighbors without them knowing what's going on. And she uses her sense of fashion to solve mysteries in the neighborhood, big ones.
Fun.
Like she breaks a a prostitution ring with this terrible person who beat up or possibly murdered her cousin back a decade ago and never got caught because the cops are corrupt. But there's this new cop from Seoul who has come, and every chapter has scenes of the two of them. They hate each other's guts, but not really. They've got that relationship, and they're sitting on these chairs out front of the laundromat, digging at each other, and then and it's and she's solving these things because she's watching a video that he lets her see because he's you know the people in this neighborhood better than me. And she's she is not wearing the same skirt she was wearing at the beginning. These two videos are 2 different days. It's
so
all things like that.
Legally Blonde on a small scale.
Yeah. And just this would be such a good K-drama, but it's not a good book. So I can't recommend. I dropped it halfway because I was I just can't read this anymore. But the mysteries are good too. They're interesting little mysteries. And there's a found family of neighborhood ajumas who come and sit on the couch in the laundromat and bug her all day. And God, it has every single aspect. You're yes, make this into a drama. So I'm trying to speak that into existence, world.
Well, this has been another episode of what we're watching, our most popular monthly contribution to the podcast sphere. We hope you enjoyed listening to it. We'll be back next month around this time with more hot takes, just absolute steaming, fresh hot takes of what we've been watching for you. We hope that you enjoyed listening to us. If you want to keep listening to us, you can listen to us wherever podcasts can be found. And every episode also goes up onto our YouTube page. And if you need links and time codes and all that, you can go to certifiednunas.com, our home on the web, where we have all of our website, all of our podcasts. We only have the one website. That's crazy. All of our podcast episodes that you can listen to directly there as well. We make it real easy for you to hear our dulcet tones. If you want to support this podcast, you can go to patreon.com/certifiednunas, become a member of the Certified Found family. They're the people who keep the lights on in this little enterprise we call the podcast. And they're great. We think that they're literally the best. They're awesome people. We also have a Discord that you can join that is just super fun. And we have all of our announcements for everything. So you can always keep up to date on all things Nuna if that is something you desire. And of course, you can reach us on all social medias, but primarily Twitter and Instagram is where we spend most of our time. Anyway, we hope you had a fantastic time listening to us and you have a fantastic week. And, as always, wash your hands, wear a mask, have some compassion and empathy for your fellow human, as we know you're all good people if you listen to us, and always enjoy Asian entertainment. Goodbye.
Bye.